Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Matthias Chin. Hi. Welcome to our first ever WebOrion Virtual Summit. We're very excited to have you here. I know this is a month of virtual events. I myself attended quite a few, so appreciate you taking time to be here. We're excited because we want to share with you quite a lot of work we have been doing and enhancements into WebOrion. Okay, my name is Matthias Chin. I'm the founder and CEO of WebOrion, which is a fully owned product and creation of CloudSign Private Limited. We've been around since 2012, and over the past 8 years, we have many enterprise and government customers across Asia Pacific, including countries like Singapore, Australia, Philippines, Hong Kong, Indonesia, India, and so on. So today we have a lot of good topics we want to talk about. But let me just start off with this topic on trends and insights into web defacement, malicious scripts, and cryptojacking attacks. Okay, so I think 2020 is such a disruptive year, right? COVID changed so many things, disrupted the whole world, all the travel industry and so on. And it has also resulted in many of us working from home. Even as we speak right now, a lot of our panelists are working from home, and only the core team is in office to coordinate the whole event, right? This has caused increasing digitalization, and many companies and organizations are forced to go online for sales and customer engagement activities. This also means that online, be it social media, website, mobile app, web application, is becoming more important because that represents the branding and reputation of the company. Okay, so what we want to hear is that the post-COVID, we already know websites are very important, but post-COVID, 19 websites are more important than ever. And we have this tagline now called "Every website matters," because every website is important, every web application is important. We need to find ways to secure them and protect them from hackers and the many threats that are online. Okay, so hackers are also aware of the increasing web security presence, right? So there are also new threats, emerging threats coming up. We have kind of heard of cryptojacking. Cryptojacking is linked to mining our cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? And we also know that, hey, maybe cryptojacking attacks PCs and so on, because cryptojacking requires the CPU power from PCs and computers to mine cryptocurrencies. What we observe also, cryptojacking attacks websites, entire websites. Why? Because imagine the hacker just put a script on the web server or website that's hosting millions of visitors daily, right? And what they do is that they'll make use of the browser to activate the CPU on the user's computer. And from there, they get, imagine 1 million computers mining cryptocurrencies for them. Of course, the money, when they mine the cryptocurrency, the money doesn't go to the company or doesn't go to the individual users. It goes to the hackers themselves. Now, the problem with this is that a lot of these attacks are invisible to the website visitors, invisible to the human eyes, unless you go and analyze the source code behind the website. And a lot of this, what the hacker did was just a few liners of JavaScript embedded into the website or web server, and they can do this really. Right, over the next few sessions, my colleagues will elaborate more on this kind of attacks. The other one that is a problem is, okay, just let me see. Okay, card skimming and match card attacks, right? You might have heard of this maybe last year when British Airways, right? British Airways is the reputable airline that they call, just like many airlines, their website, they do online booking, travel payment, and so on. So again, what the hacker did was that they embed a few lines of JavaScript code into the web server. And what they did was that when customers are making payment, right, on authorized payment gateway on British Airways, or they could link with Visa and a MasterCard or PayPal and so on, right, they will siphon off part of the credit card information or payment information to the hacker's own database, right? And of course, hacker from that can then use the data to make payment, buy things from other websites and so on. So this is a problem that affects any transaction or money collecting payment site. It could be an online store, it could be an e-government website looking at collecting payment and things like that. And again, the problem is a lot of these are JavaScript-based attacks on the website. And again, it's invisible to the human eye right? Unless you go and analyze the code behind the website again, right? So this is also another major issue that we've been seeing that it's been around, and hackers have been more active because they know everybody is going online, and with digitalization, with the COVID and things like that. More recently, we all observed the interesting US election, Donald Trump and Joe Biden bidding for the next US presidency. So you might have heard of this, that Donald Trump's own campaign website was hacked and linked to cryptocurrency scam. Right, you can look at the Donald Trump's current website. It's donaldjtrump.com, right? It's his campaign website. No, so it's not the official US government website. It's his own presidential campaign website. On 28 October 2020, right, his website was hacked and defaced. And this was the screenshot of the defacement. It's hacked by a group of hackers who wants to totally discredit Donald Trump as a president, proving that he's not a worthy president. And how they did it was that if you are interested for the evidence to be released, please donate some money to Monero, right, to their private wallets on the cryptocurrency Monero. Okay, so this came out, and this defacement was about, I think, less than an hour. So we thankfully within less than an hour, they detected it and quickly restored it and so on. But already the news has spread very fast across the internet that Donald Trump's website was defaced. Now let me do a short poll here with the audience here. I think different ones of you come in. You could be an end customer, you could be from a partner, reseller. Okay, we welcome you. Now I want to do a short poll. I make a guess. How many cases of web defacement happen globally every year? How many cases? Okay, so is it between less than 10,000, between 10,000 and 100,000, or between 100,000 and 400,000, or more than 400,000? Okay, if you should be able to see the poll, all right? So make a guess, make your best intelligent guess. There's no prize for this, but just make a guess. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, we have some people guessing between 10 to 100,000, some guessing between 100 to 400,000, some more than 400,000. Okay, globally, and I can share with you that that there are a billion websites globally in the internet, right? So if you make a guess, how many get hacked and defaced every year? Okay, I will just close the poll now. Okay, so let's take a look at poll results. Okay, I'm sharing the results. Can you all see the results? Okay. Okay, so poll results are out. We have quite a few people voting number 2, between 10,000 and 100,000 website defacements every year. Okay, that's still quite a large number. And some 21% of you voted number 3, between 100,000 to 400,000 every year. And we have 63% of you voting more than 400,000 defacements every year. Okay, so the correct answer is number 4, more than 400,000 defacements on a yearly basis. Right, let me share with you some real data and statistics from here. Good guess, everyone. So let me share with you the real data behind this. Okay, so we have done some research on the number of cases of web defacement. So a lot of this data you can get from open archives like ZoneH and so on, right? Some are our own information, but a lot of this is from open archives like ZoneH. So just based on this data from the open archives, right, we see this trend over the past 4 years. From 2017, there were 1 million defacements globally. And these are the reported ones, right? It could be even higher because there could be unreported defacements. 2018 is 560,000, 2019 is 419,000, and as up to August this year is 360,000. So you may say, hey, Matthias, seems like this is less than 400,000, but I can share with you that we've been observing, we haven't tabulated the numbers, but most likely it will be between 400 and 500,000 this year at least, right? We still have about 1.5 months to go. And you might see, hey, there seems to be a decreasing trend. Again, I would like to say that it's not just a decreasing trend, it's is something that is still very significant. It happens a lot every year. Over the past 10 years, in fact, from 2010 to 2020, there are 10 million websites defaced on a yearly basis. In total over 10 years. And if you break it down, right, even if I take 2019 numbers and divide by 365 days, it's 1,000 websites defaced every single day. We'll be surprised because we have been observing the data and trend. In fact, every 10 minutes, we get news of a website being hacked and defaced every single day, every 10 minutes. And over a day is about, on the average, is about 1,000 websites defaced every single day. So this is still a very significant problem, and it's still happening very often, despite all the awareness, security measures that have been in place. So let's analyze a little bit more, right? So what are the types of websites get hacked? Okay, we can't really tell what kind of website, so we look at the domains to get some clue of the type of websites. Okay, .com websites are still the most common. .com, it means commercial. It can be big companies, but we observe that a lot of it most likely are small companies that do not have a strong security system. They get hacked the most. In fact, I think out of it's probably about 50% of the websites that get defaced are small companies. .net is ISP companies. .org are non-profit. So non-profits are also hit quite a fair bit, right, by web defacements. We'll come to .sg later, but .gov. Okay, .gov, you don't see a big number here, it's about 2,000. But .gov are the official government websites of different countries. Okay, so it could be US, it could be Singapore, it could be many different countries. And every .gov official website that gets hacked actually is quite a big deal. So it will come out as a star in the Zone H archive because considered a major high visibility defacement. Just to give you a glimpse of the screenshot, what does a deface page look like? In case you've never seen one, so I'll give you some screenshots here. Typically, it's full page defacements. It's still quite common, the most common. Why? Because the hackers wants to have the visual impact, right? For this, we'll talk about the motivation of hackers later, but they like to have full visual impacts, right? Okay, some are by Iranian hackers, some are for fun, some are for political motivation, right? We'll talk more about those later. If you look at which countries, the websites, which countries get affected. Okay, again, US is the most. This is by IP address, so it could be because US has owns the most number of IP addresses. That's why they are always the highest. But if you look at our small countries, Singapore, although we are quite small, we are in the top 10. I'm not sure whether this is a good accolade or not, but we are in the top 10 for the past few years. 2017, we are in the top 16, right? So again, you know, although we are a small country, web hackings and defacement definitely impact us quite a fair bit in Singapore. This is also validated by the CSA report, Singapore Cyber Landscape 2019 report. This report actually came out in June this year, 2020. And among the few major threats in the spotlight, be it phishing, APT attacks, malware attacks, web defacement is recognized as a major cyber threat in Singapore. So based on CSA data, it's about probably 800 to 900 defaced websites in Singapore. So this is still a very prominent issue in Singapore as well. So just to give you a screenshot of some defaced sites, some of you may have the impression, hey, you know, I have no enemies. I'm just an innocent business or company doing having a website. Why do hackers hack me? So, well, hackers hack a lot of it is for fun, right, or for hacktivism. So again, these are the screenshots of some of the websites that got hacked. Okay, who are the hackers? Who are these people? Okay, so this is a screenshot of the trends over the past few years. If you look at 2020, there's a group called KRDSec that has hacked quite a fair bit, at least 70,000 pages all over the world. I think the other group that is quite prominent is iFactoryX. They've been active over the past 3-4 years. iFactoryX is always in the top 5. Error Squad, the blue color here, didn't get into top 5 this year, but the last few years they were very active, right? So let's take a look at some of their defacements. Okay, these are some of the pages defaced by iFactoryX. The iFactoryX pipeline, you know, freedom cry seems to be Islamic related. right? So might be linked to ISIS or some of the terror groups or whatever. So these are their signatures when they deface it, right? KRDSec, the #1 group in 2020, they generally prefer a simple page. That means they will just put their tag, say hacked by KRDSec or hacked by KRDSec and Freedom Cry. You know, they seems to prefer a simpler page. Occasionally they might put a picture, like this picture here. Not sure whether it's a cow or goat, but a cute picture by KRDSec to typically again is full page defacements, right? Error Squad, same thing. Error Squad, when they submit the name, they call it Error Squad, but when they sign off in the deface page, if you look at this picture, they'll say they are Legion, right? And claim to be a Bangladeshi hacker. Sometimes they put a picture, but very often they will have text-based signatures rather than pictures. Okay, so the good news about this is that as we are doing our analysis, so the cool thing now is we have a data set of more than 10 million defaced pages over the past 10 years. And the good news is that we are doing AI and NLP text analysis to analyze the data. We have extracted a lot of these hacker keywords out, and we are going to add it for free to our blacklist system on WebOrion. So that is going to increase the accuracy of our system moving forward. Okay. Why do these people deface? Okay, just to understand the motivation. Seems like a lot of them hacking just for fun. Okay, if you look at the red bar, I just want to be the best defacer. Okay, so this is also just a social thing, more for fun. Some are revenge against that website and political reasons. So again, a hacktivist background. Okay. And if you look at the type of web servers, so you may now be thinking, hey, you know, what kind of web servers am I having? Apache, which is a Linux-based open source web server, still gets hacked. Nginx is another Linux-based or Unix-based. IIS is Microsoft-based. Okay, so all these Apache, Nginx, IIS are still the targets of hacking. What's interesting is also the content management system, right? WordPress, if you're using WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, these are the top 3 most popular, and these are CMS that gets hacked targeted quite a fair bit. So in fact, Singapore Cyber Landscape report by CSA says that WordPress is still the most targeted, right? Having said that, I would put a caveat here to say it's not that WordPress is not good. WordPress is most targeted because it's the most popular content management system. It's easy to use, easy to build nice, responsive websites. Just that because it's so popular, it gets the most target from hackers. There are ways to secure this, right? So just make sure that you enable the security features of WordPress. They've enhanced the security updates, which is quite good. And if you put in things like a web firewall and things like WordFence to defend this, it can still be a secure website using WordPress. Okay, so how about hack modes? Hack modes talks about how did a little bit of glimpse of how the hackers got in, right? Unfortunately, we don't have access to all the web servers that get hacked. If not, we'll do an instant analysis or forensic of how the hackers got in. I think that'll be an interesting exercise. But a lot of it seems to be through an unpatched system, through a known vulnerability, right? And in Donald Trump's website case, based on security researchers, okay, Donald Trump didn't announce how his server got hacked, but based on security researchers, it seems like most likely it could be a credential compromise. That means it could be that he didn't use 2FA on his website. You know, it could be a password, username, password that got guessed and got locked, compromised. Or it could be a vulnerability on your OS, in Windows OS not patched properly, or Apache server not patched properly. Or if you're using content management system, just be careful because when you use the third-party plugins, that means plugins developed by other developers, they are not WordPress itself. They may not do a very stringent source code or security analysis of their code. And that's where very often hackers get in, especially for some of this WordPress content management system. So again, it's not WordPress fault, but when WordPress supports all these third-party developers, sometimes their security vulnerability affects you if you are using this third-party developers plugin, right? We still see some cases of actually file inclusion, SQL injection. These are not new security flaws, but they are still very common in the attackers hacking it. coming in. Okay, another last interesting insight we got from the data. There's a lot more information we can gather, but just one more slide on this data is redefacement. So what was interesting was redefacement. Okay, the blue color is non-redefacement, first time hacking of a server. The red color is redefacement. It means that a web page or website gets hacked. After that, okay, they restore it to the original non-hack page, the original page, and then they get hacked a second time. Right. So interestingly, if you look at the data here, is maybe about 20% plus minus of redefacements happening. Right. So I think that's quite a high percentage. And in fact, if you get hacked one time, ideal case is you don't want to be hacked or defaced a second time, especially during a short period of time, right? Within the next 1 day or 2 days. So this is something that we have to be very conscious, and security folks, we have to be very conscious about. Webmaster, we have to be very conscious about. And the message here is that when you try to restore from a backup, nothing wrong with restoring from a backup, but you need to make sure that it's properly patched and secured before you put it back to production, right? So that's something that it may not be trivial. It may take a few days or a few hours to do, right? Depending on your system, but that's something to be careful of. You don't want a hacker to come back with the same loophole. If you want a temporary mitigation measure, you can consider using WebOrion Restorer. So I think Late will elaborate more on that in the next few talks. Okay, so this is something that just want to highlight for everyone to be aware of. So in the midst of these threats, what we have been working hard at WebOrion, in fact, we have made use of COVID to really work very hard to enhance our product and features. So one thing we have added is that we have launched a new JavaScript malware detection engine that will catch known mage card and known cryptojacking script attacks, right? So this is a new engine that we have added in, right, to detect. So Kaya will elaborate on this engine as a third speaker in today's seminar. We have refreshed the UI UX, so I think many of you have used our system in the past. So now good news is we have given it a more modern update user interface, right? We are also adding a SSL DNS whois monitoring feature because these are important features that will affect the look and the functionality and the look and feel of the website as well. SSL DNS whois monitoring. Okay. Lastly, this is work in progress, but we have started the process this year. We're adding AI capabilities to WebOrion. So we are using both natural language processing technologies to analyze the data. We are using computer vision, deep learning techniques to analyze the web pages moving forward. So we're quite excited about this because in 2021, we'll be launching bits and bits of these capabilities into our system. All right. So I think the takeaway for all this is that, prevention alone is, Gartner's quote, prevention alone is futile, right? It's not just enough to prevent, but we need to put in a whole chain. I believe different ones of you from government or large enterprise, security, pen testing and scanning is important. Protection, WAF, WebOrion Protector Accelerator, we have our WAFs and CDN, monitoring system, and to respond and restore is also important. Okay, so we have a WebOrion suite that covers quite a few pieces of this. The good news is it doesn't have to be overly expensive as well. Of course, there's a enterprise and bespoke and government grade solution, but we also have solutions that caters affordably to SME websites, personal blogs that starts from $988 per month based on the credit card system, right? And in between for business, that's about $188 per month. Okay. We also acknowledge that, hey, if you have a very important website, right? Our solution may not cover every single square, right? So there is a website, every website matters. So we are also looking at partners who can work with us to complete the service or the solution. This is the security loop that we are advocating, right? For this to secure your website or web application as well. Okay. I see some questions. So, okay, you can post your questions on the chat or Q&A. We'll be taking the questions during the break time, if it's okay with you. Okay, so let me just end the presentation.